Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're looking at Revio, this AI video software that seems to be everywhere you look online. We've got a whole pile of marketing stuff, some pretty wild success stories, and tons of user testimonials.
Yeah, it's really blowing up right now, isn't it? That whole idea of like putting Hollywood-level video production into the hands of anyone with a computer.
Right, and the marketing really plays that up too, doesn't it? They're
Mhm.
talking about turning any photo into a talking video with like hyper-realistic emotions and lifelike movement, even saying full HD and no watermarks.
I mean, that's definitely going to catch the eye of anyone who's ever tried to make a decent video, right? Like, who wouldn't want that?
Totally. But the real question is it actually as easy as they make it sound?
Well, according to Revio, it's just 3 simple steps. Log in, pick a photo or one of their pre-made character templates, then customize the text, the movements, and boom, export your video.
They make it sound like ordering a pizza.
Exactly. And speaking of getting things delivered, they've included some pretty interesting stories about people using Revio to, well, make some serious cash, like this one about Ashley. She's a single mom who, according to them, went from struggling to pay bills to running her own successful AI video business.
And it all started with a video of Donald Trump, right? Promoting some made-up coffee brand. She was sending it to local businesses.
Yeah, it's kind of wild, but pretty smart, right? Using a familiar face to grab attention and show off what AI video can do.
And clearly it worked, because now she's charging like $497 per video, according to this.
I mean, that's pretty impressive. It really shows you the potential for, like, tapping into trends and even using, famous people to create stuff that could go viral.
Yeah, definitely. And then there's this other story about Jason, who's an affiliate marketer. Apparently he used Revio to make a video of Oprah promoting a product from ClickBank. And
ClickBank, for anyone who doesn't know, is like this platform with tons of digital products you can promote and earn commissions on.
Right, exactly. So Jason made this video, put it on a brand new TikTok account, and according to the materials, made over $2,000 without doing anything else.
So yeah, they're really pushing that whole quick and easy money angle.
For sure. And it's not just those stories either. They've got all these testimonials from other people who are supposedly using Revio. Marketers, video creators, influencers. They're all saying amazing things about how it's changed their work.
There's one quote that really stood out to me. It said, if you can upload a selfie and type, you can use this app. Like, they're really hammering home that it's super user-friendly, even if you're not a tech whiz.
Yeah, that's a really important point, right? Because so many people get intimidated by the whole video editing thing.
Exactly. And that ties in nicely with this whole, laptop lifestyle message they've got going on. Like this idea that Revio can help you ditch the 9-to-5 and become your own boss.
And that freedom is definitely a huge draw for a lot of people these days, especially with the whole gig economy thing.
Right. And on top of that, Revio comes with a commercial license, so you can actually sell the videos you create and keep all the profit.
Which is a huge plus, right? Because a lot of other AI tools either make you pay extra for that or don't even allow it at all.
Exactly. Plus, you're not paying a monthly fee. It's just a one-time purchase.
So no recurring subscription draining your bank account.
And to make it even less risky, they've got that 30-day money-back guarantee. So
yeah, like they're really confident that you're going to love it. But, I mean, all this sounds amazing, right? But before we jump on the Revio bandwagon, we need to take a closer look at what's actually going on under the hood.
Exactly. Like, does Revio really deliver on all these promises? How good are the videos, really? And how does it compare to the other AI video tools out there? Those are all things we need to unpack.
And that's what we'll be diving into next. So stick around as we take a closer look at the technical side of Revio and see if it lives up to the hype. All right, so let's get a little bit more technical here. The marketing stuff keeps mentioning cutting-edge AI algorithms and all that, but they don't really go into detail about how it all actually works.
Yeah, they're definitely more focused on the what than the how, aren't they? But I mean, from what they do say, it sounds like Revio is using a bunch of different AI technologies all combined together. They talk about flawless lip sync a lot, so that makes me think they're using some kind of facial recognition and animation stuff.
And then there's also saying you can create videos with like human-like emotions and movements, right?
It's kind of making me think of those deep fake videos that have been going around. Is that similar to what Revio is doing? Well, yeah, deep fake technology is definitely a part of the whole AI landscape. But it's important to remember that, like, the technology itself isn't inherently good or bad. It's all about how it's used. Deepfakes can be super realistic, but there are obviously concerns about them being used for, spreading misinformation or impersonating people without their consent.
So how do we know that Revio is using this technology responsibly?
That's a good question. And the materials do address it, at least to some extent. They say that users are responsible for the content they create and that Revio isn't connected to any social media platforms or anything like that. So basically, they're saying, here's the tool, use it ethically.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's like they're giving you a hammer. You can build a house with it, or you can, smash stuff up.
Exactly. And the ethical side of AI is definitely something worth thinking about. But purely from a technical perspective, it does seem like Revio is using some pretty advanced stuff to get these results.
Okay, so let's assume for a minute that the technology is all good. How does it stack up against other AI video software out there?
That's where it gets a little tricky because they don't really offer any direct comparisons to their competitors. They say that Revio replaces the need for dozens of expensive apps and APIs, but they don't name any names.
And they're definitely playing up the whole cost-saving angle, too, saying you'd have to spend thousands of dollars a year to get similar results using other software.
Right, but without actually testing it out and comparing it side by side, it's hard to know for sure. I will say, though, the fact that it's a one-time purchase definitely makes it more appealing price-wise.
Especially if you factor in the potential to, actually earn money back by selling the videos you create. That commercial license could be a major selling point for a lot of people.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And that kind of tells you who they're targeting, right? Entrepreneurs, marketers, content creators, people who are looking to create high-quality videos without spending a ton of money or time.
Right. So let's say Revio does everything it claims to do. Are there any potential downsides, besides the ethical concerns we already talked about?
Well, one thing that comes to mind is the whole creative control thing. Like, yeah, Revio gives you options to customize stuff, but at the end of the day, you're still relying on AI to do the heavy lifting, to create the animations and movements.
So you're basically trading some artistic freedom for speed and convenience.
Yeah, kinda. It's like using an Instagram filter versus hiring a professional photographer. The filter can make your pictures look nice, but you're limited to the presets they give you.
That's a good way to put it. But I guess for someone who's just starting out or who doesn't have a lot of design skills, that trade-off might be worth it.
Totally. And let's be real, not everyone can afford to hire a professional video editor. So Revio could be a game changer for those people.
Yeah, it's definitely democratizing access to video creation tools. But what about the risk of, oversaturation? If everyone starts using Revio to make their videos, won't they all end up looking the same?
That's a valid concern for sure. It happens with any new technology, right? It gets popular and then everyone's doing the same thing. But I think ultimately it comes down to how people use the tool.
You mean even with the same tools, there's still room for creativity and originality?
Exactly. It's like a musical instrument, right?
Yeah.
You've got all the same notes to work with, but it's the musician who makes the music. It's their talent and creativity that makes it unique. And I think that's the same with video creation. Revio gives you the building blocks, but you have to use them to tell your story to make something that stands out.
That's a great analogy. So it sounds like Revio has the potential to be really powerful and versatile. But like any powerful tool, it's important to use it responsibly and think about the potential risks.
Absolutely. We can't just ignore the ethical side of things. AI is becoming more and more a part of our lives, so it's crucial that we think about the implications and use these tools in a way that's, ethical and responsible.
For sure. So as a listener, what are some of the questions you should be asking yourself before you decide whether Revio is right for you? We're going to explore those questions and wrap up this deep dive in the final part of this episode. All right, so we've talked a lot about Revio, looked at what it claims to do, the potential upsides, and even kicked behind the curtain at the tech side of things. But now it's time for the big question. Is Revio right for you?
That's the real question, isn't it? And like with any good deep dive, there's not a simple yes or no answer. It really comes down to your own, needs and goals.
Exactly. We're not saying everyone should just jump on the AI bandwagon without thinking. It's about making a smart decision, right?
For sure. So let's break it down a bit. First things first. What are you hoping to achieve with AI video? Like, what's the big picture?
Right. Are you like a marketer trying to get more engagement on social media? Maybe a small business owner who wants to create those professional-looking ads but doesn't have a big budget? Or are you more of an entrepreneur with a side hustle you're trying to grow into a full-blown business?
Yeah, once you figure out what you're aiming for, you can see if Revio actually fits into that. Does it have the features you need? Does it work with your budget?
And remember, the marketing stuff always paints a pretty picture, right? So it's super important to do your own research. Look for reviews from people who aren't affiliated with Revio. Compare it to other AI video tools. See if it actually lives up to all the hype.
Exactly. Don't just take their word for it. Dig a little deeper and see if it's a good fit for what you're trying to do.
Another thing to consider is like how comfortable you are with the whole AI thing in general. Are you excited about all the possibilities, or are you a little bit hesitant about using algorithms to create content?
Yeah, and there's no right or wrong answer there. It's all about what you're comfortable with. If you're not quite ready to dive headfirst into AI, maybe start by exploring other video creation tools and see how those feel.
And keep in mind, AI is changing all the time. What seems like cutting edge today might be totally normal tomorrow. So stay curious, keep learning, and don't be afraid to try new things out.
Yeah, absolutely. And even if you decide that Revio isn't the right tool for you right now, I think there's still a lot to take away from this deep dive. We've, explained some of the techie terms, explored the potential good and bad sides of AI video, and hopefully got you thinking about how you can use this stuff in your own life.
Right, because AI is here to stay whether we like it or not. So the more we understand about how it works, the better prepared we'll be, right?
Exactly. So what's the final verdict? Should you run out and buy Revio right this second? Well, only you can answer that. But hopefully this deep dive has given you enough info to make a good decision.
And remember, even if you decide to pass on Revio, this is just the beginning of your AI journey. There's a whole world of possibilities out there just waiting to be explored.
So keep learning, keep experimenting, and who knows, maybe we'll see you on the next deep dive.
That's it for this episode of The Deep Dive. Thanks for joining us. And until next time, happy diving.